Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Terry Slavens to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
And welcome into Life Planning 101 on this beautiful Monday morning in June. Good morning, Angela.
Yes, shocker. June. Did we just put those two words together? Beautiful June.
Beautiful June.
Yeah.
I mean, high in the 70s.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so why not have a beautiful topic? Taxes, right? Yes, right here on Life Planning 101. You don't want to miss it today. We are going to be talking about IRAs in particular. I think most people have one. It doesn't need much explanation. It's your retirement account. Right. Came over, you put money into it. You did it from a 401k, a 403b, a 457. It eventually ends up in IRA in most cases. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And the question at hand, Twitter folks, is will a third of your IRA go to Uncle Sam? Not sure? You might want to listen to the show because this is some very powerful stuff. And here's where it comes from, okay? I want you to think about when you actually got advice to put money back in an IRA. Somehow, along the way, someone gave you that advice to put money back into your retirement account or your IRA or whatever. And most likely, I'm going to bet this is how the conversation went. Something like, you said, how can I get my taxes down? And the answer was
IRA.
The IRA. Contribute more to your retirement account, right? And if it wasn't that, it was like, well, if you put this in, your employer will do
match it.
This, right? So that was the only other reason that you probably got that advice. But as time goes on, you make more money. Then it became this advice. Put more money back in your IRA, right? And it sounds great. Plain, simple, easy, it's just like vanilla, right? It makes a lot of sense. But now that most of us have followed that advice for years, I want you to think about the size of your IRA today and where it's at, or your retirement accounts as a whole. And that good advice may not look so good if you think about the fact that 100% of that money is taxable. 100%. And you say, well, I can defer it. Well, you can't defer it forever. It is going to come out over your generation and your children's generation, and by certain, your grandchildren's generation. It will be pulled out and it will be paid tax on. I read this, and I don't know where it came from. It just came across. I get these funny little deals in my emails all the time. But it said, if you want to teach your children about taxes, buy them an ice cream cone and eat a third of it. So, this is true, right?
We had the guy on Jeopardy, the biggest winner on Jeopardy recently. I don't know if you saw that in the news, but he won like $2.5 million because the game is played in California.
Oh, no.
He is subject to the California state tax.
Sure.
So $1.23 million went to taxes.
Wow. Yeah. So when I say a third, I'm really not even talking on the high end, right?
No, it could be as much as half.
I was about to say, and you have to realize that. I mean, our federal taxes alone, the highest tax bracket today is 37. This is with tax reform. When that expires, it goes back to that 39.6%. So that's nearly 40%. Right. Then we have other taxes on top of that, right? We've got the Medicare tax, which you could be subject to. Your IRA could be subject to, and that's another 3.96%. Okay. Then you have state income tax, and you're right, Terry. We are very blessed here in the state of Texas, but I know a lot of our listeners live in Arizona or Colorado or Montana and Oklahoma, and those states are not so blessed, and we may not be so blessed. I mean, can we guarantee that our grandkids won't have a state income tax in the state of Texas?
Can't guarantee it, but we can guarantee it has to go to a vote of the people.
This is right. This is right. Now, we have a lot of foreigners coming in, I'm just saying. Anyway, we're not going to go down that road. But, I'm a tried and true Texan. If born and raised, you can't take the Texas out of the girl. But Here it is. So it is a high risk that, over a third could be taxed. And that's powerful. I mean, if you think about it, if you had $1 million in your IRA, let's put this in numbers, right? Percentages mean nothing until it comes to numbers. A third of that's $333.33 thousand, right? In taxes. What if it was 40%? $400,000.
Leaves you with $600,000.
Right. What if it was 50%? And by the way, we do have clients that pay over 53% in taxes because when we do their tax planning, that's the number that we're working with. So imagine $530,000 of that IRA going to taxes.
Wow.
That's a big number, right? Yes. Huge number. And what's miraculous is we all have this problem. And I think the government isn't too worried about our deficit because they know we all have this problem. And there's actually been some bills being put through Congress right now that are working towards being able to sharpening up the rules for the IRA. If you look from an outsider looking in and just first generation nearsighted, some of these rules may look really good. But if you take a deep dive into them and you see what could happen if you aren't just sitting on the sidelines enjoying those front side rules, you're going to get overwhelmed and your family's going to get overwhelmed with taxes. It's absolutely ridiculous. So that's what we're here to talk about on Life Planning 101 today is your IRA, the good, the bad, and you know what else comes with that.
That's right.
Right here on Life Planning 101.
Segment 2, we're talking IRAs right here on KTX KWY. Angela?
That's right. And just because you avoided all those taxes on the front end of your IRA doesn't mean you're going to avoid taxes altogether. You or your family will pay them. And then the thing is the odds are your retirement account, has it grown over the years? Yeah. So, I mean, here maybe you put in $100,000 and it's worth $400,000 today. Well, you're going to pay taxes on the $400,000, not the $100,000.
Because it's going in, it's tax deductible and it's tax deferred.
That's right. And, you're going to pay taxes on everything. So it is what we call a ticking tax bomb. And just to let you know how bad this is battling the mindset in America, okay? So this is 2 recent clients that we've dealt with, one of which we were doing a ton of tax planning because of tax reform. They have a C corporation, very successful business, but the way that they've been able to structure everything, they don't pay a whole lot in taxes. So we said, well, quit contributing to your IRAs. And in fact, let's do some other stuff over here so we can do some Roth conversions during these years. And yes, they're still working. They're in the 12% tax bracket. So they're going to pay 12% on these IRA distributions. 12% was 15% just a couple years ago. So this is cheap money to get out. This is a little over a year of makeup and returns to be able to pay for that. So, to us, it makes total sense to be able to get that money out and stop putting those contributions in, put it in Roth money that grows tax-free, right? So anyway, we get back their tax return and they said, oh, by the way, we need to make our IRA contributions. And we said, well, we had, this planned out. No, you don't need to make. Well, our CPA said we need to make our IRA contributions. And we told him, hey, here's our plan. Well, he said, but you're going to pay more in tax. Yes, it's true. They're going to pay more in tax, but so nearsighted. We're so nearsighted as Americans that we need it right then and there that we're creating this massive problem out here for us in the future. And, it may not seem like a lot, but when you have $1 million IRA or retirement account and you're forced at some point to start taking $40,000 to $45,000 of that a year, and then it throws them up into a higher tax bracket, not their 12% that they're in today.
Right.
Are they going to be regretting what they did? Absolutely. So we have what we call user-friendly CPAs, by the way. That's a whole different conversation. But, you want to make sure you're working with someone that has that ability to say, oh,
big picture.
The big picture, not just this nearsightedness. Let's get my taxes down today. Because if you absolutely have to have those taxes down today, I get it, but you have a window of opportunity here to work with. And some of us need to be thinking hot and heavy about what we can actually do so we can make our futures more tax friendly. Because I'm going to tell you this, when I'm retired, I want to pay less in taxes than I do today because I'm going to be fixed on a certain amount. I'm going to have a certain amount of fixed money, right?
Right.
So I want to keep those taxes as low as I can today. Where I'm working, I have the ability to make my income what it needs to be able to make my lifestyle or adjust my lifestyle. It's a little harder to do the older we get.
Sure.
Right? So there's only so many things you can do when you're retired. Lower your taxes, increase your returns, or stop taking as much money. Now, you tell me of the three which one you want to do. Take more risk, take less money.
Don't want to do that.
Lower your taxes.
That's what I
it would make sense, right? Yeah. So why don't we work on that today? And that's what we're seeing all over the board. Another one came into us, and this is a business owner. He makes about $2 million a year, but he's young. And so he came in, he had this retirement plan that is his CPA, and we just got to know this guy. He had set up and brought us into it. We did the analytics on it, and he's actually maybe saving $3,000 a year to be able to put $110,000 back for him and his spouse. So he's creating this tax bomb to save $3,000 a year, 3% a year.
Wow.
Think about that. And then down the road, this is something that could cost him 50%, 33%.
A lot more than what it would cost him now.
Right. Why not pay the $3,000, put it into Roth IRA money, and never pay taxes again? Right. So, is it worth $3,000, especially when you're making $2 million a year? Right. And those are things that you just have to think about. We get this mindset of just get my taxes down, just get my taxes down. Trust me. I mean, you know me. You've heard me on this show 1,000 times. I'm all about not paying Uncle Sam if we don't have to pay him by legal ways. Right. But let's be real here and look at this time frame of what we're actually working with. So there's some proposed regulation that I promised to talk about on the show, and Congress has been working hot and heavy on a bill to change a few critical features that we know and love about our IRAs. Or I say love, I wouldn't say love. But the first of which is that required minimum distribution that you have to start taking when you turn, don't ask me why they gave you this age, but 70.5 years old, okay? So you have
the government.
There you are. Yes, they make things so easy for us. But you have to start taking money out of your IRA at that time, right? Well, it's on the proposal on the docket, and it's actually passed the House. It's in the Senate now. So the Senate has to drop their own version, and it never will be the same. So just ignore what I'm saying about that. But it's proposed right now that they're going to raise that age from 70.5 to age 72, because the last time that it was updated was when the life expectancy was much lower, right?
Yes.
So they're looking at that, and that sounds great, right? Sounds like, oh my gosh, Congress is doing something for us. Well, let's keep digging. Okay, so another large benefit to your IRA is that when you die, your heirs can do what you call stretch your IRA. So just like you can at age 70.5 take a small percentage of your IRA each year that's mandatory, they can continue to have that required minimum distribution and keep stretching it over their entire lifetime. Why is that powerful? Well, imagine you have $1 million IRA. Do your kids necessarily need $1 million all at once?
Probably not.
Probably not, okay? Much less if Uncle Sam's going to take 30-50% of that, right? So wouldn't it be beneficial if they could take $40,000 a year and it's taxed at 20% or 12%, or if we do tax planning, maybe nothing, right? So, wouldn't that be beneficial to stretch that out? Absolutely. Well, Congress is saying, let's just do away with this whole stretching thing. Remember I told you they see this big
amount of money
yes. out here? Right. They're thinking, let's limit it to 10 years. So now we have $1 million IRA that we were maybe taking $40,000 a year on.
They're going to take $100,000.
Take $100,000. Okay. Now our tax bracket just went up, right? Now they just ate a 30-year ice cream, remember? So it's gone, right? So this is what is being proposed on the docket. And I think everybody needs to pay really good attention to this, because, a lot of people, and this is a lot of people, we work with, it's weird. We work with 1 to 2 people. We work with people that we're having to talk to all the time about keeping their budget, make sure that they're living within their means, and this is all they can take out of their investments. And then we have those people that their investments are really just, whipping cream and sprinkles and everything else. They don't need it to be able to live off of. So, this group of people over here are those that they're going to be passing on to their kids and their grandkids this wealth. Okay, so the question is do you think your kids are going to pay more or less taxes than you currently pay today?
More than likely more.
More, right? If we're going to keep climbing our debt up and have all these issues, do you think tax rates are going to stay at the lowest they've ever been in history?
No.
No, it's not going to happen. It always goes back up. It's a pendulum. Goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you want to create a bigger tax burden on them, or do you want to use this opportunity to create something that's really a legacy for your family? And not just for you, but for your family. And this works both ways. I was working with a client about 2 weeks ago, and we finalized a plan that we're actually going to be able to convert about $160,000 a year from IRA money to Roth IRA money, not pay anything but about $4,000 in taxes to do it. Now, when they turn 70 and a half, by the way, they're about 62 and 59. So when they turn 70 and a half or 72, whatever that ripe old age is they pick now, they don't have to pull as much money out, right? Which is huge. That lowers their taxes.
Right.
And then what does it do for their kids?
It leaves it there.
It leaves it intact. It doesn't take a third of it from Uncle Sam. So this tax planning is critical about what can be done. So we want to talk more about your IRA, the good, the bad, and you know what, right here on Life Planning 101 when we come back.
Welcome back. Final segment, Life Planning 101, right here, KTX, KWY. Angela has more IRA news.
IRA news, IRA taxes, what you need to do. Right before the break, we were talking about how important it is, to be thinking long term about this ticking tax bomb that you've been building for the last 30, 40 years. And what are you going to really do about it? And you really need to be thinking about it because it is powerful. It could make or break you in retirement. When we run plans, a lot of times when we figure out ways to do taxes, that will literally make or break someone's retirement, ability to retire or not. And taxes are huge. I mean, you think about it. You're 12, 22, 24, 28%. That's how much you're paying out of your income every year. Those are big numbers. Right. 100,000 a year, even at 12%, that's $12,000 a year that you're pushing out to Uncle Sam. That's $1,000 a month that you could be keeping in your pocket. And that's very, very powerful. If you think about how you can maybe keep those taxes down and do that. So this is really, really good. Now, a lot of people say, well, I really could care less about my kids. And I mean, it is out there that they do think that, hey, my kids are on their own. Whatever happens, happens. I just want to keep my taxes as low as possible. And sometimes that Roth IRA, those conversions don't make sense if that's really you. But I'm gonna give you another food for thought about your IRA, something that could be really ugly that people don't think about. And it's called the widow's penalty. So a lot of people think, okay, well, if I die, my spouse just continues to get my income. No biggie, right? Well, let's think of it this way. If you die and you and your spouse are about the same age, or is she going to still have to continue taking the same amount of money from your IRA that you take? Yeah.
Probably, yes.
Probably. She'll need that income. She might even need
more
income,
depending on what you lose with the first death.
Right, because of Social Security,
retirements.
Right. We might have pensions that need to be made up. So if all of that's going to be coming out of an IRA, something that might have been 85% taxable, 50% taxable, or not taxable, all of a sudden is 100% taxable. Okay. And then on top of that, let's not even talk about those. Let's just talk about even numbers. Let's just talk about the fact that you have these little things called tax brackets in the United States, and you claim married or you claim single. And what do those brackets look like? They're much different, right? So you could be taking the exact same dollar amount out of your IRA as a single person than when you were married and pay 10% more in taxes.
What's
or
the
more.
reasoning for that?
Who knows? Who knows? Show. That's another show, right? Who knows? I don't know. But single people are penalized to death. You really are penalized to death in this country for being single. There's no doubt about it. Even in married filing separately, they get the exact same benefits as married filing jointly. So we won't even go there. But, when you become a widow, you only have that first year to continue to file those benefits together unless there are some special circumstances as a married person. So, just imagine all of a sudden now 10, 13, 15% of your income, poof.
Gone.
It's gone because now it goes to Uncle Sam. And this is the widow's penalty, okay? It can get worse than that. It can get worse than that because of the things that we were talking about. Now, another thing that people don't realize is, remember we did a show a long time ago about Social Security and how much of my Social Security is actually taxable. Okay, so that's based on a number, and it's also based on whether you're married or single. So it's like a double whammy. let's just penalize you to death. Let's take you from no taxes in your Social Security to now you pay taxes on 85% of your Social Security. Plus you're going to pay taxes on everything that you're pulling out of your IRA, and you're in a higher tax bracket, by the way. So people don't realize how painful this can be for a widow. And, what is the one thing that people want to do for their spouse?
Make life easier for them.
They want to make life easier for them, and this is so true. I don't think I've ever seen anyone that's been married for 20, 30 plus years not love their spouse more than the day that they married them.
Sure.
They've done a lot of underwear for you. That's a lot of washing underwear, washing socks, right?
Lots of good and bad times.
Yeah, lots of good and bad. And even if you don't have just the most romantic relationship, you have this deep love for one another that's family. And, to leave your spouse in a mess is not something any of us want to do or nor intentionally would do I believe. So, this goes back to one of those things, you don't know what you don't know, right? And this is one of those things that you don't know that you don't know. And you need to know what
it will hurt you.
Because yes, it will hurt you. It is big. A lot of people retire and they say, forget my life insurance. I don't need it anymore. Well, did you think about the fact that there's actually less money if you die still? Why is there less money? Now no Social Security. What happened to your pensions? Taxes gone up? Those are things that need to be considered. And I'll tell you this, every single plan that we do, every progress report we do, we put, and I say buttons because we do it electronically to show people, but we have 2 buttons. One is the what if of someone dying. And I don't care if they're 80 years old. We'll show the what if of someone dying and what happens. And the second thing that we'll show is the what if that they're going to need long-term care health.
Right.
Care, okay? And what that could do to their plan. And the reason that we showed those 2 things is because those are the most devastating things that can happen to a retired couple. The most devastating things that can happen to a retired couple. And it is not a could it happen to me? It happens to a lot of me's, right? So you have to address it. You have to think about it. And, this is just, everything I've given you today is really just the good and the bad, right, of the IRAs. We know the benefit. We know the downfall. And really the ugly is up to you. Because if you do nothing, doing nothing is doing something. And that means the result could be
ugly,
right? In many cases, the awesome thing is to this flip side of that is doing something. You have tax reform. We still have some years left to do some powerful tax planning. This is the perfect storm, and we may not get it again. That's so awesome. I'm just like a little kid in a candy store. I promise you. I do so many tax stuff all week long, and I love it because I love watching these ticking tax bombs just go down and being unwired and unwired and unwired so that they don't blow up on somebody.
To maybe a little firecracker.
That's right. Love little firecrackers. What are those things that kids pop on the ground? Yeah. You don't even see smoke, right? So let's just turn that clock back, and you can do it, but you've got to get started today. If you wait, you've lost your opportunity, and the only one you can blame is really yourself, right? So don't let it be ugly. Know the good, know the bad, do some planning, have tax reform in your pocket, and that way you don't have to answer yes to our Twitter poll about paying a third of your IRA to Uncle Sam. Nobody wants to do that. So, but anyway, great to have everyone on the show today. Again, my name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services. God bless everyone. Have a great week right here on Life Planning 101. You don't want to miss it. Same time, same show next week.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Advisory services offered through Smart Money Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services Incorporated is an independent of Calton & Associates Incorporated and Smart Money Group, LLC.